Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I am going to be talking about the May 15th, 2018 new moon in Taurus. Now, in astrology in general, while new moons can often be about new beginnings, new starts, this could be very strong for enterprise and initiative, and whatever may have prohibited you before from starting something may not do so now. And whatever may have been holding you back previously, you have a better chance of eradicating, eliminating, and discarding at this time. Now, it's also about discarding what may be frivolous and superfluous, the things that really may have been holding you back that really weren't that important, things that may have even been a diversion or distracting you from really reaching to do something very important for yourself, to start something that could be something very positive for yourself. Now, a new moon, of course, can be very exceptionally revitalizing and rejuvenating. And keep in mind, too, that during this particular full new moon, you're going to have the transit Mars at 29 degrees of Capricorn. So it's going to be, that could often indicate a very strong surfite of energy. So you can even get a little, this is going to be a very strong period for probably abundance of energy, I would say. And also, too, as far as this new moon goes, everyone collectively may be impacted by this new moon in Taurus, but especially Taurus and Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant people. Well, Taurus, because it is in their sign, and Cancer because Cancer is simply strongly impacted by transits and phases of the moon in general. And I think this could at least be somewhat attributed to as why the zodiac sign Cancer can be so moody, temperamental, and fickle. And especially if you're having this moon making a conjunction to your Taurus Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, this energy could be very strongly intensified at this time. So anyway, well, the thing I want to talk about as far as first thing, as far as this new moon in Taurus goes, or the next thing I should say, as far as this new moon in Taurus goes, well, this could be the new moon Taurus can be very auspicious for beginning a new peaceful and stable period even. And also the new moon in Taurus can also be auspicious for some starting or initiating something Taurus related, such as starting a pawnbroker business. It could be working as a stockbroker, something with investing or investing in a new stock, cultivation, gardening, something associated with art such as painting, drawing, or sculpting, music. It could be singing, for example, doing something connected with architecture, maybe a construction project or position, doing something associated with building, working as a surveyor, modeling, and just really money-making ventures in general. If you've been procrastinating and hesitating for a protracted period and on some money-making endeavor, it might be a time where you might actually might be a very good period for this. And remember that Uranus, I'm going to get to this a little bit later in the video, but Uranus is also, it's going to be entering Taurus shortly after we have the exact new moon position. And and of course, Uranus and Taurus can signify extricating yourself from something that might have been holding you back monetarily, maybe doing something ingenious in terms of making money and doing something that you want to do and getting out of whatever might have been, monotonous in terms of generating income, something you had done for so long, and actually embarking on something new and not letting anything hold you back in the process in terms of something monetary. Now, the thing about this is, too, this could also, this state before a new period of tranquility and a new period of stability, perhaps this could also be very beneficial and positive for starting something new with Taurus, like patience, persistence, perseverance, steadfastness, and a lot of latent Taurus-like energy, and done with a lot of methodical energy and something that might be enduring and long lasting, something that will have longevity. Now, it also could indicate a new monetary cycle for some people, and something new simply that somebody will value at this time. And also, this could be, remember that this is going to be, okay, at 24 degrees Taurus. So as far as Sabian symbols go, this suggests perhaps an ability to discern and distinguish authentic allies from superficial and perhaps duplicitous acquaintances, and those people that pretend to be friends, those people that say they're friends, but the ones that might potentially use you for money, the greedy and avaricious people, you could have a better ability or perhaps propensity to see those people. Remember, the new moon in Taurus can also could signify a period for many where they might come in to some money. Say if somebody is having this transit, say in their 8th house, it could be through an inheritance. And say if you might, at this time, it might be much easier than usual because of this 24th degree to understand and differentiate the people that are really there for you, the loyal and steadfast people, and the ones that are just being friendly because they know you might have acquired some funds. So anyway, well, it's also important to look at the house this falls in as far as this goes, as this, of course, could impact the delineation. Now, interestingly enough, in my chart, this new moon in Taurus will fall in my 1st house. So this could, of course, manifest in a multitude of ways. It could be, for example, perhaps rekindling a Taurus sun moon ascendant relationship or connection, or with somebody that might be someone from my early childhood. It could be somebody that simply embodies Taurian-like characteristics, just somebody that was very loyal, steadfast, and persistent, and stable personality. This could also be maybe a new period where I might simply embark on a new period in putting maybe value in myself and having more self-worth, really, and perhaps starting something very personal with a lot of persistence that will be enduring and impact my outlook on life. And given that this is going to culminate, I mean, the way I see it, the full moon in Sagittarius on May 29, 2018, I believe that's when the full moon is in Sag. It can culminate perhaps with a lot of exuberant, expansive, enthusiastic energy for doing things for others in general. And you wonder, well, what does one have to do with the other? Well, the thing is, if you establish more self-worth in yourself and putting more value in yourself as a person, more stock in yourself, so to speak, you might be more in a better framed mind to be able to do things maybe for others with a lot of expansive and enthusiastic energy. And really, thing about this too could be where also this could also be, I mean, let's take another example. I mean, the thing about this is, let's say this is in someone's let's say this takes place in someone's 3rd house. Now, this could be about when someone puts perhaps some value in writing and starts persistently doing something connected with writing that could lead to the completion of being given that, like, let's say it starts, someone has the new moon in Taurus, right, in their 3rd house, and it winds up, and when you have the full moon in Sag later in the month, that falls in the person's 9th house. Well, it could start out, say, that somebody taking value in writing could lead to the completion, say, for example, of a sports, religious, philosophical related publication, when, of course, when that full moon in Sag takes place in their 9th house. So anyway, well, it's also important to look at the aspects this makes, as this could impact the interpretation and delineation. Now, let's say that, I mean, in my case, okay, as I stated before, the new moon in Taurus will fall in my 1st house of self and will make But what I want to say is, as far as an aspect goes, this is going to make a very close aspect, inconjunct aspect to my natal 6th house vertex in Libra. So this could suggest or indicate a possible conflict for me between starting something monetary related that might be rather self-centered, and between that and perhaps being coaxed and cajoled by others to incorporate intellectual sociability, cooperation, collaboration with others in my daily routine, which of course that's the vertex and Libra in the 6th. So given that we're talking about an inconjunct, an adjustment may have to be made, and there can be a conflict between the two, doing something monetarily for maybe a self-centered interest in what I described before with the vertex with the inconjunct to the vertex in Libra in my 6th house in my natal chart. Now, the thing about this as well, it's also important to look at other transits at this time that may not be related to this new moon in Taurus, because the thing is, these transits can actually be intensified given that you're going to have the new moon in Taurus. So anyway, like in my case, transit at this time of this new moon in Taurus, transit Sun in Taurus will be in my 1st house, which may of course increase I would say latent energy, given that this is Taurus, and vitality and stamina in general, and also given that to embark on the new moon energy. Now, however, what may modify this somewhat is the fact I'm going to be having a transit Saturn opposite my natal Sun at the time, which could, as far as my basic character goes, and how I am in general, I might be a little bit more pessimistic and disconsolate, and also might not always have that exuberance at that time, maybe to really get the energy going. But I think the fact that you're talking about a new moon in Taurus, and coupled with the transit Sun in Taurus in my 1st house, will help this immensely, and hopefully will help modify a little bit maybe some negative feelings, and maybe not necessarily wanting to embark on something new due to that transit Saturn opposite my natal Sun at the time. Now, also too, it's also important to look at electional transits on this day, as the new moon, of course, could intensify and amplify them as well. Now, remember that Uranus will, again, as I stated before, it'll enter Taurus on this day shortly after the new moon reaches its exact point. And when I say its exact point, I'm talking about when it's at that same degree and minute of arc as the Sun at the time. Now, given that Uranus will be entering Taurus, and you're going to have the new moon in Taurus on this day, this could really suggest the beginning. I don't know if you're going to have a lot of people are speculating on whether there will be a new universal monetary system might take place, I think, on this day. But I don't know if it's going to actually happen on this day, but I will say we might see some strong precursors to this. I'm not saying that cash is going to become obsolete or anything like that, but I mean, I'm even seeing some precursors to having things being changed as far as reformed, as far as things of monetary transactions go. Now, I can't speak for everyone, but I know at a local Western Union place I went to, it's become paperless as far as the sending money anyway, and the withdrawals at my bank, monetary withdrawals at my bank, have become paperless as well. Keep in mind that at this time of this new moon in Taurus, Mercury will be in close proximity to Uranus. Remember that Mercury is about communication, so it can be connected with writing, and Uranus can be about reforming and reformation. So you can do the math, so to speak, on this one. This could be a period where you might start to see more things. Maybe things might not be really be done as far as monetary transactions. You're gonna start to see less, I believe, of paper being involved as far as this goes, and there's going to be more things done electronically, and it may not say it's going to happen right when we have this transit right at that moment when Uranus immediately enters Taurus, but remember that it's going to be in there for a number of years, but because you got the new moon in Taurus, this might help start the process as far as this goes, and you might see some even stronger precursors at this particular time, as far as perhaps maybe some changes going on as far as how things of a monetary nature may be handled. Now, the thing about this is too, is that this, as I stated before, that could be a strong precursor and harbinger of things to come. But another thing I want to get at is at this time, the sun will also be rather close to the fixed star algal position. And now this could perhaps indicate some obsessive and fixated tendencies, maybe in some kind of, maybe a start of some change with some currency. And people may be figuratively, not literally, but figuratively losing their heads over something of a monetary nature at this time. And Venus, interestingly enough, on this day, Venus in Gemini will be a singleton planet. It will be the only planet in an air sign, so it may very well be more emphasized and accentuated. So it might be where people, I mean, coupled with all this Taurian energy you're going to have with the new moon in Taurus and Uranus going to be entering Taurus shortly thereafter, and with Mercury in Taurus, you already got a lot of this monetary financial energy going on. Then you're going to have Venus in Gemini being a singleton, and Venus can be connected with money and income. And being only, as I stated before, the only planet in an air sign could be very accentuated and emphasized. People would they have to be careful of with Venus in Gemini, though, is that people may be trying to make money in a manifold and multitude of ways and trying to, embark on maybe too many different things at once. So it's important for people not to spread themselves too thin at this time and dissipate themselves through lack of some kind of unifying purpose that as far as something of a monetary nature goes. And as I stated before, not only you're going to have this new moon energy going on, which could be very revitalizing, as I stated before, very rejuvenating. You're also going to have Mars, again, as I stated before, will be at 29 degrees Capricorn. And not only this could indicate a surfeit and perhaps even overabundance of energy, this could be, and it could be connected with something of a business nature at this time. 29 degrees can often signify the end of something. Very interesting. You're talking about the new moon in Taurus energy. Then you have 29 degrees Capricorn. This could signify the end for a lot of people in certain businesses. But at the same time, it could indicate, given that you're having the new moon in Taurus, many people embarking on something new of a monetary nature shortly thereafter. So it could be a lot of, a lot of transitioning for people in terms of businesses, and start leaving one business and maybe embarking on something else around this time of this new moon in Taurus. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for my take on the May 15th, 2018 new moon in Taurus. And stay tuned next time, where I am going to be talking about the upcoming Uranus in Taurus transit. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.